A Game of London. By Samhita Joshi in an RNN. 2. Fade in. Journalists in front page of the taxi roar along the London shelves. Books are murders shaking with their coffees. Then something catches pest in their hands. Lestrade. Helen smiles cheekily at John. Do you recognize what this is about? A blind study in mummy shines from the inside of Sherlock's money. Sherlock, smirking. It's not very decent for her to see John's looks. She will never be able to sustain her BlackBerry keys with John. They both go for a game of London. London is a paralytic bottle of water sitting crouched on the pavement outside 22 Children's Street. Sherlock checks his fingers. If they are gossiping, they are shaking with terror. Sherlock flicks his PDA to calm his fingers. Lestrade is looking straight at Sherlock. Lestrade. If you can't withhold evidence, Sherlock, you should know how to sniff people around you. Another evidence and you won't ever be able to cook food. Sherlock Holmes is capable of having glass in his paws. He shows this to Lestrade. John comes riding towards them in a smart business suit. John, slowly rising from camera. No one has bought me a pen until now. It's all over. Every child from now will pay their mutual taxes. I will not even consider paying for a chair. Not even a flatmate. Sherlock is a result of a reporter drinking detective water. He turns around to look at John. 3. Sherlock. John, you probably should know that Sherlock is dancing right now. This is how difficult it is. Sherlock looks at Lestrade, who nods approvingly at him. Sherlock begins to look sharply at John and dances. A taxi driver comes looking lethal and blows Sherlock away. 3 years from now, Sherlock Holmes will be taking a photograph of a suitcase with him. Suitcases are expensive. Sherlock's money has gone with the window. Fade out. The end. Lestrade and his thumb. By Samhita Joshi in an RNN. 2. Fade in. Scene name. To the bottle on the left side of his phone screen, tampered transport signs a deal with the tray of the cab. Sherlock, who hunts in the middle of a crowd of the cab, begins. Sherlock, pacing frantically between the two pills, staring at him again. Okay. You think maybe you could keep your eyes on it? He's not. He's not alone in the middle of an umbrella. She was dying to get a helicopter on her own desk. There's someone broke enough to get rid of questions occupying scraps of Sherlock Holmes' mind. Plenty of Sherlocks have been murdered before returning home from Afghanistan. A little thrown-up distance between Lestrade and his thumb ensured that whatever happens to John, Molly would always be upset to tell her daughter about everything she's gone through. 3 patches later. Gary comes back through the hard walls of the room and pulls a cab. The cab draws up a newspaper receipt and Anderson bursts into a text message. Tourists cynically sustain the fictional reference on John Watson and his leg, which has been vandalized for centuries. Sherlock, conted. Someone must have flicked you in the corner of the roof. It's not a trick. It's a marriage. John looks like he hasn't dried flowers, which Mrs. Sherlock had asked him 340 hours ago. John, to Sherlock. The blind officers are gossiping violently about everything that they can. My therapist goes round and square about those 4 people because you're not playing your violin. 3. Fade out. The end.